Namaste to everyone. Shri Aurobindo Kapali Shastri Institute of Vedic Culture, Sakshi, welcomes you all to the great occasion of 137th birthday celebration of Shri T.V. Kapali Shastri Ji. I welcome our chief guest, Dr. Yogesh Vaikar Ji and Dr. R.V. Jahagirdar, the Managing Trustee of Sakshi, to the dais. Welcome, sir. Let us begin the celebration by chanting Veda mantras. I request Shri Bala Nagesh, a Sakshi Vedavrati, to chant Veda mantras.
Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyaye Sarvavighnopashantaye Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gurave Sarva Lokanam Vishaje Bhavaroginam Vidaye Sarva Vidyanam Dakshinam Urtaye Namaha Om Agnimi Purohitam Yagnasya Devamritvijam Hotaram Ratnadhatamam Agnif Purvebhir Rushibhiridyo Nutanairuta Sadevam Ehavakshati Agnina Arayimashnavat Poshameva Dive Dive Yashasam Veeravattamam Agneyam Agnamadvaram Vishvatah Paribhurasi Sayid Deveshu Gacchati Agnirhota Akavikratus Satyashchitrashavastamaha Devo Deve Biragamat Yadangadashu Se Tomagne Bhadram Karishyasi Tave Tat Satyamangiraha Upatvagne Dive Dive Dosha Vastar Diyavayam Namo Bharantayemasi Rajantam Madhvaranam Gopamrutasya Didivim Vardhamanam Svedame Sanaf Piteva Sunave Agne Supayano Bhava Sachasvanasvasthaye Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
The first mantra talks about leading the yajna by Agni Deva. The second mantra is about ancient and modern seers. The third mantra is about endowing inner plenitude. The fourth mantra is yajna as a journey. The fifth mantra is Agni is seer will. The sixth mantra talks about the truth of Agni. The seventh mantra is about obeisance by thought. The eighth mantra is about Agni reign over pilgrim yajna. The last and the ninth one, Agni as father. Now I request Dr. Swati, a homeopathy medical practitioner and healer, to welcome and introduce our chief guest.
Thank you, Manasa. So, thank you. It is my privilege to welcome our Dr. Yogesh Vaikar, who has studied MBBS, MD, DNM, DNB, MNAMS, Fellow in Pediatric Gastroenterology and Liver Transplant, Consultant Pediatric Gastroenterologist, Hepatologist, and Endoscopist. Private practice at Super Speciality GI Kids Clinic and Endoscopy, Nagpur. 12 years. He is practicing there from past 12 years. Founder editor, APGH, Official Journal of Indian Society of Pediatric Gastroenterology and Hepatology. 45 publications he has done from all these years. 12 books, chapters, 33 articles, 209 PPTs, national and state conferences. Sakshi is publishing Dr. Yogesh Vaikar's book, Yoga Mudra, and will be in our hands in the month of October. I wish to give an outline of the book. This is extracted from the notes to readers in the book. And the reading goes like this. Revelations are consequences of pure aspiration and self-stabilization to the higher consciousness within self. Self is the consciousness. It first works with ignorance. The need to know self-consciousness is the inspiration. It is commonly seen in all humans. One recognizes it if work on it. The sincere questioning to self, when purified in early meditative process, starts the process of aspiration. The levels of inspiration corresponds to resultant aspiration. Aspiration, like inspiration, don't follow the all or none principle. The resultant aspiration is a graded phenomenon. On higher levels within self, the strength and purity of aspiration increases. The interactive forces taking part in this process are well recognized and are crafted in Rigveda Samhita. It's an important base to uplift self. This is also known as the ascent. It is known by many for generations. Each level is recognized and analyzed. Its force is appreciated. The interaction within one level is dissected and further all level interactive forces are scrutinized. Thus, one prepares the ground for either knowingly or unknowingly for the spontaneous descent. This descent is recognized as revelatory thoughts within self. The force of these is not only tremendous but also systemic. It is embedded in each thought waiting to express itself. This study of revelatory force is well scripted in Samaveda Samhita. Yogamitra to help is in guiding one's soul to prepare self on the ladder of supragnostification. But one should recognize that it is the continuous process. Revelations described in the scriptures are used here as fulcrum. Afferent and central consciousness development is an individualized phenomenon. It should be worked on by individual reader to the best of ability. The natural consequences is revelation. It is the grace of supragnostic flowing within self, ready to express on all planes. Thank you.
Thank you, Swati ji. Now I request Shri Lakshmikant Hegde, one of the trustees in Sakshi, to felicitate our chief guest.
Also, Ambujimma, trustee of Sakshi Kalyan. Swan Gurahuta Vairi Balavan Matangama Nithata Kumbhochadri Patanadika Paturateka Vajrayaha Padvastar Bhanta Shanta Pravita Vanasa Bhavitana Kirundehi Lakshmi Kanta Sabandato Vikalayan Niveshiduste Samam Pashat
Now, our managing trustee, Dr. R.P. Jahagirdar, will address the gathering.
आनंदमयी चैतन्यमयी सत्यमयी परमे
Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Arvindaya Namaha. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. I welcome all of you once again to Sakshi to celebrate the 137th birthday of Shri T.V. Kapali Shastriya. So all of us know that our direct guru is Professor R.L. Kashyap, and his guru was Shri M.P. Pandit, Madhav Pandit, and Madhav Pandit's guru was Shri T.V. Kapali Shastriya, who was the direct disciple of Shri Aurobindo. Shri Aurobindo himself has appreciated the contributions made by Shri T.V. Kapali Shastriya. He was always called as the versatile genius who was a master simultaneously about the Vedas, Upanishads, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Tantra, and so many sadhana margas which are perceived in our country. He was well versed in several languages, especially he has created literature including the writing of the poetry in English, Sanskrit, Tamil, Telugu, and a part of Origen. As all of us know that his Siddhanjana is the lighthouse for all the work that has been carried out by Professor R.L. Kashyap. So we are celebrating his birthday. We will try to recollect some of his memories as penned by Shri M.C. Subramanian, who was companion to Shri T.V. Kapali Shastriya. He was principal of a college and he lived with Shri Kapali Shastriya, and I felt that his writing about Kapali Shastriya can be presented in front of all of us devotees of Shri Aurobindo. Shastriya belongs to a much respected family in Tiruvattiyur, which has produced a succession of scholars and devout worshippers of the Divine Mother. His father, Shri Vishweshwara Shastri, was a great scholar and an ardent upasaka of Shri Vidya. Shastriya learned the Vedas according to the practice of his times and studied Sanskrit under his father. By the time he was 20, he had acquired an assured mastery over many branches of learning, which included Ayurveda and astrology. The range, depth, and subtlety of his mind grew simultaneously with his fervor for securing divine grace. Before he was 12, he had read the Ramayana a dozen times, or in the time-honored way, observing all the ceremonials associated with such reading. He was also observing all austerities, disciplines, and practices that were meant to enlarge his inner life. He has said that he used to stand before the shrine of Shri Tripura Sundari at Tiruvattiyur every day, repeating at least 1,000 times the mantra of Sri Vidya, which his father had taught to him. Like all other orthodox students of his time, Shastriya regarded the Veda as a revealed text. He accepted the tradition that the Veda was the sound body of God himself, and it was the source and support of all spiritual knowledge. But like most others of his time, he did not stop with chanting of the ruks. He studied their meaning with the help of commentary of the Sayana. But he had, as he observes in his introduction to his Bhashya on the Rigveda Samhita, a feeling while looking into the meaning of some of the ruks he had got by heart that there was something more than what Sayana had brought out. He could not go further into the matter at that tender age of 12 years. The year 1907 proved a landmark in the life of Shastriyar, for in that year he met Kavyakantha Vasishtha Ganapati Muni, that multifaceted genius whose supremacy as a Sanskrit poet was only matched by his daring adventures in the realm of the spirit. It was he, into quotation, it was he, writes Shastriyar in his introduction to his Rugbhasha, who since 1978 took me as his own and guided me in many branches of Sanskrit study. As all of us know, Kapali Shastriyar had three gurus. First was Kavyakantha Vasishtha Ganapati Muni, then Ramana Maharshi, finally Sri Aurobindo. He laid in me the foundations for spiritual life, which later life grew to claim me in its entirety. See the confidence of Shastriyar. It was in 1910 that he favored me with instructions regarding the deities in the Rig Veda and the depth of thought in Vedic hymns. Unquote. If the Kavyakantha shed a new light on and showed a new approach to the study of Rig Veda, Sri Aurobindo, in his article in the Arya some 4 years later, provided Shastriyar with the key to unlock the secrets of the ancient scriptures. Shastriyar's life, mind and personality grew in several directions as a result of his intimate association with the Kavyakantha Ganapati Muni. The gifts he received from his master were varied and rich. Vasishtha Ganapati Muni helped Shastriyar to understand more precisely and thoroughly all great classics on Vedanta and Mantra and Tantra Yogas. More than everything, he took him to Sri Ramana Maharshi. Shastriyar makes grateful mention of all the gifts he received from the Kavyakantha in his commentary on his master's devotional classic, Uma Sahasram. Shastriyar was the one and only disciple of Vasishtha Ganapati Muni who drew on the manifold riches of his master and grew in stature, bringing glory to himself and to his guru. In fact, he was the inheritor of his master's poetic genius, and in the poems he composed, in the prose he wrote, we see his guru's whole wealth of grace, rhythm, compactness, and meaning reflected with additional luster of his own soul. His commentary on the Kavyakantha's Uma Sahasram, throwing light on the literary graces and tantric truths embedded in the verses, is written in Sanskrit prose of flowing beauty and arresting the lucidity. His biography of Vasishtha Ganapati Muni, written in Sanskrit according to modern conceptions, is a majestic poem in prose depicting a life packed with incidents. Sri Maharshi, to whose feet Shastriyar was led by the Kavyakantha, was the third major influence to nourish and ripen his soul. Shastriyar was second to none in his devotion for Maharshi. He was one of the few people who were aware of the mighty realization of the Maharshi. He is also one of the rare few who drew out Sri Maharshi on intricate problems in Jnana, Yoga, Bhakti. The chapter in Sri Ramana Gita, wherein the sage of Arunachala has answered the questions of Shastriyar, is acknowledged as among the best in the treatise. If Vasishtha Ganapati Muni wrote Saddarshana, Ramana Gita, and other immortal works on the philosophy and teachings of Sri Maharshi, and truths served the master as no other follower of his did, Sri Kapali Shastriyar wrote commentaries in Sanskrit on Saddarshana and Ramana Gita and added his own luminous contribution to bring out all the truths embedded in them and present them in proper philosophical setting. That the commentaries of Shastriyar on the treatises setting out Sri Maharshi's teachings are the best cannot be denied. When in the early 30s, Shastriya placed the first printed copy of Saddarshana Bhashya at the feet of Kavya Kantha, the latter hailed it as a monumental work which had vibrant echoes of Acharya Shankara's manner and the style. Shastriya's devotion to Sri Maharshi has thus borne rich and lasting fruits to all of us. But it was the ashram of Sri Aurobindo that provided him the atmosphere and the inspiration for all-sided enthronement. He completely and unreservedly consecrated himself to the pursuit of the sadhana. He rarely went out of his quarters, and if at all he went out, he did so only to have the blessings of the mother or to have the darshan of Sri Aurobindo. Those who had the privilege of moving with him closely say that every second of his life exemplified the ancient saying that spiritual life was like walking on the sharp edge of a razor blade. He had disciplined himself into such unwinking vigilance that he was never found saying or writing or doing a thing that was not in consonance with the truth of his way of life. So as all of us know that Sri Aurobindo wrote only which he experienced, in the same way Sri T.V. Kapali Shastri wrote or spoke that is only connected with the divine and nothing else which is not directly connected with the divinity. It is not for anyone to sketch out the results that he garnered by surrendering himself totally to the care and guidance of the Mother and Sri Aurobindo and pursuing the integral yoga. It is a mystery into which it is impossible to probe. But those who saw Shastriya never failed to see in him a person of uncommon radiance. His eyes were the lamps of his soul and reflected and radiated an ethereal splendor. His form shone like unalloyed gold. His voice, rich, resonant, and melodious, seemed to be fashioned out of the harmonies from afar. And wherever he chanted a rook or recited a poem, and what a way of reciting he had, all the fugitive rhythms would be brought out to produce an atmosphere of unforgettable thrills. And even opaque minds would not fail to be electrified by his voice. At such moments, one would wonder whether the voice was human or the divine. And whatever he talked was wisdom. His exposition of Sri Aurobindo's yoga and philosophy did not merely carry intellectual conviction, it always evoked deeper responses and made his hearers go away with an abiding picture of all of that he talked. So, were his talks on Vedic gods, mantras, the Tantra Shastras, the Upanishadic Vidyas, etc. As one listened to him, one could not escape the conviction that he was a man who was but a point in unfathomable width, breadth, and depth. His knowledge of the workings of even the gross mind was something amazing. One hint of a behavior pattern would be enough for him to assess the person, and it was never his habit to dilate on the workings of the gross mind. He would, when necessary, utter a cryptic warning, and he would, when sought for, tender advice. But whatever he said was full of worldly wisdom, and events had never proved him wrong. There are so many examples to prove this statement of Sri M.C. Subramanian. I think some other occasion we can share those experiences of Sri T.V. Kapali Shastri. But these are all cherished treasures of individual memories. These may fade with the memories that cherish them, but there are unfading blossoms which Shastri has left behind for posterity. So all of them are kept intact in 12 volumes of complete works of Sri Kapali Shastriyas, which was published by Deepti Publications, Pondicherry, and completely supported by Dr. R.L. Kashyap. Shastriya's works have all blossomed out of his yoga. His sadhana and study went hand in hand for a number of years, and it is clear that he started writing only when he achieved assured maturity in both thinking and expression. He should be confident that his thinking and his writing both go together to achieve the divinity. With the key provided by Sri Aurobindo, he studied the Rigveda, the Upanishads, and other allied literature. His study, illumined by his own sadhana, enabled him to discover many grand truths that had become obscure and lost. So Sakshi has published this book. So the first 21 suktas of Rigveda, he has written the secrets revealed to him during his interaction with the Veda mantras. So Sakshi has published a small book as The Secret in the Veda mantras. Almost all his important works, both in English and Sanskrit, are based on the new interpretation of the Veda. Some of them provide Vedic basis for Sri Aurobindo's yoga and show that Sri Aurobindo has recovered and rebuilt the sadhana that was in vogue in Vedic times. Others proclaim the persistence of the Vedic traditions in the Upanishads, the Tantras, etc. Shastriya's books on Veda, Upanishads, and Tantras have revolutionized Vedic thought. In his writes on the Upanishads, he has established that the Upanishads are not philosophical speculations but manuals of sadhana. And his explanation of the Vidyas mentioned in the Chandogya and his tracing of their Vedic source constitute a new and original contribution to the study of the Upanishads. Similarly, his further lights, the Veda and the Tantra, explains how the Tantra Shastra is of Vedic origin and how the various rites and ceremonials of Tantra worship are of deep spiritual and psychological importance. Shastriya's monumental contribution is his commentary on the first Ashtaka of the Rigveda, that is 1/8 part of Rigveda. With the key provided by Sri Aurobindo and with meager references and other similar help available, Shastriya toiled against heavy odds to write this commentary. His capacious mind was itself a well-equipped reference library, and a large number of the quotations given in the commentary were drawn from his own memory. And he started writing it in his 60th year. The commentary establishes that the Rigveda is a repository of spiritual wisdom and that it is neither the babblings of primitive people worshipping nature powers nor mantras meant only for use in sacrifices. The time will not long before the world of Vedic scholarship awoke to the inestimable contribution which Shastriyas had made to give life and meaning to the tradition. And the Veda is the sound body of God Himself, and that it is the source and support of all true knowledge and dharma through a convincing and scientific system of interpreting the symbolic language of the seers, getting at the secret of the spiritual sadhanas of the Rishis of Rigvedic times. Then will India hail him as a Kavi, a Rishi, which he really was. So this is a brief estimate of Sri T.V. Kapali Shastriyas. With these words, I hope all of you must have received a sort of estimation about the great life of Sri Kapali Shastriya. So, his complete works are published about 40 years back, and as per the wish of the founder of Sakshi, Sri R.L. Kashyap, now Sakshi has taken up the work of publishing Sri T.V. Kapali Shastri's books, not in the forms of the complete works, but there are individual books. Already few of his books are published on his commentary on Bhagavad Gita, his lights on the Vedas, and new lights on the Upanishads, and the biography of Sri Kapali Shastri in his own words. And shortly we are coming out with a book, The Light of Lights, which has got, Sri Kapali Shastri had the practice of writing the spiritual diary. So all that he has written in his spiritual diary and his correspondence with his students, friends, and Sri Aurobindo and the mother and the senior disciples of Sri Aurobindo, all are contents of the book that is going to come in the month of September. I think with all these memories, I was pleased to share with you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. I request Dr. Yogesh Vaikar ji to release the book Vedas for Success, written by Dr. Ramakrishna Narayana Swami, USA, and deliver his speech.
This book was printed in such a great hurry that yesterday morning we decided, of course the content was ready, yesterday morning we decided, as wished by Dr. Narayana Swami, who is in US, that he would be happy if his book was published on the occasion of T.V. Kapali Shastri's birthday. So within 3 hours, our Balakrishna of Shiva got to pick up. So I would like to take this occasion to thank
Veda. Veda is not something in the book. Veda is not something which we need to, as a scripture, holy scripture. What I am saying, it is not a holy scripture. It is not a book. So what is Veda? Veda are you. You yourself is Veda. We don't know it. The Veda are not something in the books, they are Veda are within you. So this thinking has been there with all of the rishis who have worked on self. So what I am telling you is something called as work on self. And every one of us, directly or indirectly, is working on self. Some know it, some don't know it. So once you work on self, there are 2 things which come. One is realization. Many are the souls who have realized who they are. And they stopped. They called it moksha, they called it nirvana, and they stopped. There are many. It's sometimes a transient phenomena, sometimes it becomes a persistent phenomenon. Application of the realization is nowhere else but within ourselves. So Veda are not books, Veda are self. Ved is the self-consciousness. So for these 2 words to understand realization and aspirations, we need to have something called as aspiration. If we realize, when we will realize? When we ask ourselves a question. Who am I? Isn't it? All of us have asked ourselves this question. Who am I? Om Bhuhu, Om Bhuva, Om Suvaha, Om Maha, Om Janaha, Om Tapaha, Om Satyam, Tatsaviturvarenyam, Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yona prachodayat. We all know what is this. Gayatri Mantra. Isn't it? So what is this? Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Maha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam. Are they something gods? No, no. They are yourself. Planes within you. The word which is given is called as Agrahana. In Vedic Brahmana, the word which is given to this plane is called as Agrahana. So at one particular point of time, I have about, as per our traditions, Bhuhu. Bhuhu means physical plane. My basic needs, my understanding, my requirements, my need to have food, my need to have thirst is Bhuhu. Physical plane with, according to Sri Aurobindo. And it is. Bhuvaha, vital, passion. I need to do work for Sakshi. I need to know myself. I need to be a good software engineer. I need to do good business. This is my passion. So this is vital plane. Bhuvaha. Suvaha. What is Suvaha? It is the mental plane. What can I do so that this interaction should happen and this would be the result? This is Suvaha plane. So if you aspire on Bhuhu, so aspiration is the first thing. What am I? What are my requirements? And the physical plane, you purify those aspirations and you get to know revelations. These revelations are conglomeration of multiple forces happening within you, just you are not aware of it. And they are compiled by many rishis and called as Rigveda Samhita. Your vital plane, the intermediate plane, Bhuvaha. Aspirations within yourself at Bhuvaha plane go to the inspirations, they go to interpretations, post-interpretations, representations of various forces. I will come to that forces. And they are revealed to rishis, not one, many, at the same time differently. It's the Yajurveda Samhita. You still go at the higher planes. Suvaha. The aspirations are purified, luminous, and you are revealed with the thoughts which are compiled in Samaveda. So Samhita are the understanding of revelatory thoughts. Mahajana Tapa Satyam, I will just tell you some lines. It is an intermediate plane. If we want to discuss Maha, it is a one-day complete workshop. If I want to discuss Jana, it is the collective consciousness, collective mass, collective presence of the self. Tapa, the collective force within me. Satyam is the gnostic force. After Satyam, you call this force, the Buddha has reached. Gautam Buddha, Shankaracharya has reached this plane of Satyam. But unfortunately, many have stopped at this gnostic plane. Nirvana, Nirgunatmak Samadhi. What I want? Moksha. I don't want to work in my life. Are you meant for this? Sri Aurobindo says no. Three great workers on Veda. Swami Dayananda Saraswati, Pandit Madhusudan Ojha and Sri Aurobindo. Sri Aurobindo said there are planes within yourself beyond Satyam. You need to stabilize them. Descent is complete. Ascent is the Kundalini activation within self. Starting from Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda. Then you reach Sahasradhala Chakra. And from there starts the path of supragnostic or supermind according to Aurobindo, Sri Aurobindo. You stabilize that consciousness. Like if I am trying to learn a cycle, I know how to do a kaichi and pedal. This is my physical consciousness working. I stabilize it and then I work. If I want to drive a car, I know how to handle a steering and a gear. This is the physical consciousness. You stabilize it and then work. So stabilization of the supragnostic consciousness in all of your planes. is what is revealed in Samhita, how to do that. So Samhita are the interactive forces within you. They are not there outside in the books. They are within yourself. We should not go in these dangerous forces which should keep you attached. Tala, vitala, sutala, talatala, rasatala, mahatala, patala. So at one given point of time, I am expressing at least these 14 planes. So am I interacting with you? I am interacting 14 planes with you. Ideally, there are 33 planes. But for common mind to understand Vedas, these 14 planes are must to understand. So in Veda, Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha have been well established. Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha, physical, vital and mental. And all the forces acting within cells were dissected intellectually. And there are further Satchidananda, sometimes they are called as Mahajana Tapa Satyam. So these are called as Vedic planes. So what is Ved? It is a received name for the highest spiritual truth of which human mind is capable. If he is not capable, you would not be here in this morning. You are capable of knowing yourself. So that is revealed in Ved. What it is not? It is not a Aryan invasion theory that Arya came from some, Pakistan, Afghanistan, so beyond area and they displaced Dravidian thoughts. No. Sri Aurobindo clear-cut says it is not an invasion. It is process of self-realization. Why the mistakes? Why I don't understand it suddenly? Why the 8 mantras which you have spoken today from the Rigveda, first Agni Mile is the first Rigveda Samhita mantra. Why I don't understand it? Because of sacredness and the secrecy of the self-knowledge. See, I know something and if you are not able to achieve it, you may use it wrongly. You may use it partly right and there may be consequences of it. So there was a secrecy and streamlining. Okay, you need to follow the school of thoughts. The families have been interested. Okay, you are good. So which families? I will come to that. So what's the aim? Why Vedas are published? Why Vedas are being worked on? It is not for, something like this is 10 commandments given by Bible or this is the way you should act so that you get this benefit. No. This is self-exploration. We are from the land of seekers. We want to know ourselves. We want to make mistakes. We want to rectify self. So what was the aim of the Veda? Sri Aurobindo says it is illumination. It is not based on logic. It is what? It is revelations. We would say these are revelations happening to the fellows who have detached themselves from the attachments at all the planes. Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha. They have detached themselves and spontaneously things are happening. Suddenly driving on the road, you feel that no, I need to apply the brakes. Why? This is the intuition. This is the first step of revelation. What is intuition? Intuition is the first step of revelation. Sri Aurobindo has very categorically dissected how to go ahead. And I am just trying to give you the expression how revelations comes to you. How revelations are coming to you. You don't push or pull it. They are the spontaneous descent. They are called as Shruti. What is Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita is a Smriti. What Sri Krishna has understood as the revelations he had spoken. Manu Smriti, Yajnavalkya Smriti. Bhagavad Gita is the Krishna Smriti. But Vedas are not claimed by anyone. They are the revelations to them. And how can Vasishta, Dirghatamasa, Vishwamitra, everyone have the same revelations when they are working on the same plane? It means if there is one particular invention, at the same time it is possible that 2 more people are thinking like you. Similarly, all of them would have the same revelations at that particular point of time. It is a soul's march on the path of the truth to know self. So these are Vedas. Why the hymns are incoherent? Because we are at different plane and the Vedas have been written and expressed in a very different plane. So either they have to come to our level or I have to come to their level. Right? So for a mother to teach a child, either she need to come, okay, O, Ananasacha, A for apple, or the child has to come to the stage that he uses the functions and applications of apple. Right? So we don't know them because we are stuck here. Somewhere down the line we think that it is something Veda, it is a holy scripture, we are not worried what it is. My basic thing is I need to look for myself, look for my family, how much money I am and how much think I progress. Okay, now I have time, now I see what's, I don't understand, it is of no use. Bhagavad Gita, it is so difficult Sanskrit, who understands Sanskrit? It's not, it's the aspiration, we are stuck at here. But Vedas are the revelatory thoughts to ourselves, not to anyone else. So this supragnostic part, according to Sri Aurobindo, has grades of hilarity. There are planes where you climb. Sequential development of the self is possible and it is common. And it is not that only one Rishi has done that. Many Rishis have done that. Even right now, Dr. R.L. Kashyap, Kapali Shastri, Sri Aurobindo, MP Pandit, all are going through the same process, so am I. So this is not something only restricted to me, it is even okay for this girl, small girl, she is working on that, either directly or indirectly. So we need to know what is the central idea in Vedas. It is the transition of human soul from the state of the death, which is the mixed consciousness, ignorance, I don't know who am I, to the state of immortality, which is a supragnostic stabilization within self, exchange of the falsehood for the truth, of divided and limited being to the integrality and the infinity. So this is the central idea, that you need to march Rug Veda, Yajur Veda, Samo Veda. And what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Vedosi Samoham. So where is Vishnu? Vishnu is at the Sama plane. It is not somewhere outside, it is within you. It is not the deity. Deity is for representational purposes. Tirupati, Tirumala, or Vishnu, Padmanabha. These are the deities because we are not able to understand these deities are within you. They are within you. The Vishnu is within you. We need to know at what plane. So it is at the Suha plane. I will come to that. So this is the path of supragnostification. First you know which plane you are. Then you detach yourself from that plane. Then the gradual steps of evolution happens. Then we step up the ladder. We stabilize the ascent. Kundalini has been completely activated and you come to a state of Satyam. This is Nirgunatmak Brahma, Moksha, Nirvana. Okay? This is only step 1. This is not completion of self. Mujhe moksha mil jaye. No, this is a step 1. This is first standard you have cleared. You have to go till PhD. Then starts the supragnostic ascent, stabilization of that and the descent. So Sri Aurobindo, I will not go into too much, but I will give you ideality. I will just give a clue how he intellectually dissected himself. What he says, there is something called as inferior ideality, which is of three types: intuition, inspiration and revelation. Revelations come at last. Intuition comes first. I told you we have some sixth sense. Every one of us has sixth sense. Okay, I am not going to follow that path. This path looks okay, but I am not going to do that. Why? Why it comes to you? Why this sixth sense happens? This is intuition. Who tells you? It is within you, the principle which is telling you. Okay? The superior ideality present in the form of inferior and the superior most ideality. In our book, which would be published by Sakshi, we have revealed inferior idealities of 3 types, as Sri Aurobindo says. The Shabda Brahma on the lower planes, Bhuhu plane. Inspirational comes at again Bhuhu plane. And the revelations comes again at the Bhuhu plane. Then we worked in the Yajurveda, which is intermediate plane. You get different thoughts. And at the Samaveda, we get the highest of the expressions which are possible. And the revelations are nothing but the Shabda Brahma expressing Tattva Brahma on different planes. What is Shabda Brahma? What is Tattva Brahma? Tattva Brahma is the principle within you. Shabda Brahma is the expression of you through the Vak. So Manas, Kar, Vak. Manas is at the level of Suha or higher planes. Vaka is the expression, Saraswati, through you. So there is a lowermost ideality which is called as telepathy. Some you think that someone must be doing this. What is this? This is telepathy. Second level is inspirative tapasa. I need to know myself. This is the inspiration which is going on. And the third level is revelatory Trikala-drishti. When you are with Ashtasiddhi and Navasiddhi, if I see you, I can see your present, past and future. This is Trikala-drishti. This happens. This is a Siddhi. Don't get attached to it. There would be problems. So, I will skip this. These mystics, why they are created? Because you are at different levels and there is a conglomeration of your lower, see if your lower plane has not been matured to a sufficient extent and you have a revelation of upward plane, because these revelations are not all and non phenomena. I will pass first standard, then I will go to second standard. No, it is not like. Sometimes a first standard student would get the answer to the 12th standard problem. This happens. Because of this confused work, it depends on how much work you have done in your earlier janmas. You get revelations in this present janmas. So, because of this conglomeration or mixture of the revelations within you, you are confused. But once you know yourself, the dissecting knife, intellectual dissecting, supra-intellectual dissecting knife, you can segregate, okay, this is coming from the Rigveda, this is my Bhuhu plane, this is coming from Yajurveda, this is more related to Bhuvaha plane, this is Samaveda, and this is something supragnostic. I need to know and I need to apply. Okay, this is where I do. So ideally it is nothing but creating consciousness within self, and slowly you go towards the higher ideality. I will skip this part. It's a very wonderful book written by Sri Aurobindo, Records of Yoga, where he literally dissected each of his planes within himself. And then he realized, okay, at this plane this is happening. None other book in Indian philosophical sciences is such beautiful than Records of Yoga. This is the most beautiful book. This should be read along with Savitri. Not go in depth, but this is how Sri Aurobindo used to think. There are states of mental development. First, there is elimination of mental intuition. You have that intuition. You feel like, no, this is my intuition, I should do like this. Leave it. Don't do it. Then you have to confirm the intuitions by the revelatory vijnana. Revelations comes. Even that you have to leave. Then you rise to a state of interpretative revelations. I am interpreting that this is the revelation. This I need to do. This is interpretative revelation. Even that has to be left. And then it is the revelatory full founded power of inspiration within yourself. Then you know the Trikala-drishti, what is happening within yourself. So Vijnana is what? Vijnana is the process of analyzing self-consciousness within. Right? So there are stages. Telepathy. Understanding the limitations of telepathy. Sometimes I feel like this is going to happen, but it doesn't happen because it is mixed. Then you purify that telepathy. Then you go towards luminous telepathy. Then you integrate with your, I need to know myself. That's integration of telepathy with the tapasa. The force, tapaha plane, needs to be conglomerated. And this gives rise to something what Sri Aurobindo called as T3. Telepathy, tapas and Trikala-drishti. T3. Then we convert that T3 into Chit Tapasa, only force of consciousness working, mother, which is working within you. And that Chit Tapasa would get converted into Satchidananda. I am just giving you words. You will cry if you experience it. These are not the tears of, sadness. These are the tears of ultimate self-realization which happens. And unless and until you are equipped, stable enough, your Bhuva and Suva should be strong enough to hold that force of mother, the super mind, you will crumble. So it is very necessary that we follow the process. We can't suddenly jump to PhD. So then we work towards supragnostic, which Sri Aurobindo has done, and the stabilization and the supragnostic descent should start. Kundalini activation is the first step. Kundalini stabilization, Kundalini expression, and then application. In our routine life, I need to know what is the truth. Satyameva Jayate is just a sentence. No, that Satya is what? Within me, outside me, I need to realize that. So who is Vipra? There in Veda, there is a word called as Vipra. One who delivers the individual human mind from the circumscribed consciousness of the self. See how Sri Aurobindo defines this Vipra. See, I am the individual human mind. I am dissecting myself from my other planes and the environment which is surrounding me, and enlarges the limited movement. I am giving you a talk, a lecture or an expression in this form. I am going to expand, which is imposed on its preoccupation by its own individuality. I worked on Vedas myself, so this is my preoccupation. I am going to expand that I am you and you am I. So this is one who does it efficiently, spontaneously, graciously, is called as Vipra. The level of consciousness, Agrahana is the plane I told you. Stoma is again plane. You will hear this word. Trivruta stoma, Panchadasha stoma. Panchadasha stoma, Panchadasha 15. So first three are the planes of Rigveda. Till 15th, 17th, it is the Yajurveda which is acting within you. Beyond 17th, it is the Samaveda. This is something not outside, this is within myself. So if you see, the first three group of Agrahana is called as Trivruta stoma. Till 15th, the predominant Bhuvaha plane works. From 17th to 33rd, it is the Suvaha plane. And Shri Krishna said, I am there at the 17th plane, within myself. You don't know me, so this is a form of Padmanabha, you worship me. You will get me. But I am not outside, I am within you. I am not in that holy book, I am within you. So this realization will happen, and as you go ahead, the maximum limit of influential expression of any living being is 33rd plane within himself. That is a supragnostic plane. So here we can conclude, in Veda, there are fellows called as Rutvika, which are called as Hotra, then we have Ardhvayu, and then we have Samaveda Rutvik, and then Brahma. So thus we can safely conclude here, Rutvik of Rigveda should have control over expression of oneself at least till 17th plane. So in Yajna, there used to be a Rutvik called as Hotra. He used to perform the actions, invocation. Rigveda is what? Invocation. Oh, energy is within me, come and meet me. This is the invocation which is happening. This is done by whom? Hotra. Hotra should have control and stabilization of the first 17 planes within self. Yajurvedi would have a control from 15 to 17 plane predominantly. He is called as Ardhvayu. And the Rutvik of Samaveda would have control of expression from 17 to 33rd plane. They are called as Udgata. And Brahma, he is the principal. He knows all the 33 planes and he will rectify. Okay, you did this wrong. Rectify it. So, it is not by virtue of I am coming from, I am basically Shukra Yajurvedi Madhyandini Shaki. So, I would be knowing everything of Shukla Yajurvedi easily. No. I need my consciousness to be developed to that level of extent to know and understand what is Shukla Yajurveda. So, in our book, which would be published by Sakshi, we have included all of these concepts. What are different planes? So in that, we have a chapter called as Concept of Yajna. Yajna is not something ritual, you do this, you do that, it is not like that. Yajna is the process. It is the interaction. Yajna takes place on the subtle intermediary platform within yourself. Yajna platform has various planned expressions. Bhu, Bhuva, Suva. Yajna platform is the base for transmigrating soul, the Jiva, to ascend to the highest supragnostic Turiya. Stabilizing self in that supragnostic, its descent and further planar expression is possible through Yajna. Yajnena Yajnamai Janta Deva Stani Dharmani Pratamanyasam. What is this? Through Yajna, we are cultivating and expressing ourselves in the sequential fashion to the higher planes. The ascent is earlier subjected to interplanar interaction. I love my wife, I love my business, I love my interactions which are happening, the money which I am generating. These are the attachments. These are interplanar interaction which will bind you. Leave that. Then later interplanar interactions, higher planar interactions which would happen within yourself. Leave that. These interactions are revealed to the transmigrating soul in Samhita. So these interactions are expressed in Samhita, right? They are studied further and worksheets are generated. Okay, Samhita are the forces, pure interactive forces within you. But how I am going to work on it? I need some worksheet. In my third standard, second standard, if all of us would remember, there would be chapter and there would be worksheet to solve the mathematical problems. So that worksheet is nothing but Brahmana, right? And then further contemplation on Brahmanas are described in Aranyakas. And the central idea, the gist, is there in Upanishad. It is very easy to understand Sahita, my dear friends. It is very difficult to understand Upanishads. Upanishads are the toughest because they are the gist. Sahita are the simplest. We are catching the bull by means of its horn. Don't do that. That is my perception. I feel Sahita are the easiest to study, easiest to understand. Sanskrit of Sahita is very simple. Upanishad Sanskrita is manipulated by many. Shankaracharya thinks in a different fashion. Madhvacharya thinks in a different fashion. Ramanacharya has some Dvaita, Advaita, Dvaita, Advaita. So it has been altered. That is called as personalization of the bias. Very dangerous. It is not that their work is important. Without them, I could not have gone ahead up till now. But we need to understand things beyond that. So what are the forces within you? Gods. You go to various temples. Okay, this is Ganesha temple. This is Vishnu temple. This is Varuna temple. What is this? Gods are nothing but not outside in the temples in the form of Murti. They are within you. So what are they? The first god, the first sukta of Rigveda in Samhita is Agni. Agni is the aspirational power within you. I need to know myself. So Agni is the basic stead horse of Rigveda. Most number of ruchas are directed to the Agni in Rigveda. So there you stabilize, you aspire to know yourself. This is Rigveda. The process of understanding to know yourself is Rigveda. We ascend yourself. This is the Kundalini activation. What is the first god? Brahmanaspati. Brahmanaspati. Sakshi has published the book. What is Brahmanaspati? Ganapati. Gananam tva Ganapatir Havamahe. You know, why we call first of the god in invocation, everything you do, we say Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. It is the god of your Muladhara Chakra, Brahmanaspati. First god to be invoked. It is there in you whether you don't study or don't study Vedas. It is there within yourself. Invocation of that is Brahmanaspati. We are celebrating, would be shortly in the Ganesha Chaturthi. So when you celebrate Ganesh Chaturthi, you are activating your Muladhara Chakra. See how beautifully things have been conglomerated in our sciences. Only thing is we don't know it. As the aspiration goes ahead, the descent starts. The grace of divine. This is Soma. Agni Soma Maya Jagata. Rucha. Anything which is expressed in the world is a conglomeration and interaction of the Agni and the Soma coming together and different expressions which are happening. And who is controlling all of this? The principal, Vishnu. 17th plane within yourself. So need to know that Vishnu is there in Tirupati. Vishnu is there in Padmanabha. But Vishnu is there within you at the 17th plane. So know your aspirations. Understand the revelations truly which are coming. Stabilize themselves by the Vishnu within self. You know Samhita much better, my dear friends. So energies, there are different energies which work. The names come in Samhita. Divine mind is Indra. Agni is the ascent force. Soma is the descent. Ashwin is basically again a helper. I will not go in depth. These are each individual one-day workshop. We want to understand what is Ashwin and the Ashwina Suktas, the Ashwin where they take part. They are the force of descent. What is Marut? What is Marut? Maruti. We don't understand Marut. It is Maruti. It is the force of ascent. Who is Rama? Rama is expression of Indra. Stabilization of the higher minds within yourself. So Rama is assisted by whom? Maruti. So if you want to ascend, Maruti is there. So you will always find Rama with Maruti. This principle always remains. Even if now you will find a teacher, there is a student. Rama, Maruti. Whether you label him or you don't label him, they are within you. Ribu is a force of descent. The descent which is happening. See how beautifully our rishis have understood those revelations and they have Now if I am getting some revelation, how I am going to tell Jahagirdar sir, okay sir, this is my revelation. So I need to have terminology for that revelation, that force that need to be understood. Okay, this is that transformative process. So that is helping, that force is called as Ribu. Ribu is of 3 types. Again, I will not go in depth. So all these are there. But to understand them, there is a work which is called as Nighantu. Even this has been published, would be published in our Sakshi. Nighantu, no one knows who has written Nighantu. But Yaskacharya, Acharya Yaska, has worked on that Nighantu to form a guide which is called as Nirukta. So Nirukta is what? What are the terminologies? What does Indra means? What does Maruta means in Veda? This is called as, written by Yaska. So Nirukta deals with the analysis and etymology of the Vedic words. It is an analytical word on the Nighantu. It gives explanation of the Vedic word and their origin. We need to understand that it is based on mixed mental applicative planar thoughts and the revelatory thoughts of Yaska. What Yaska had that revelations? It is mixed with his mental thoughts and it is expressed. Every one of us does that. So meaning of Vedic word is based predominantly on action. If you read Purva Mimamsa, in Purva Mimamsa is all action oriented. Right? Uttar Mimamsa is all Jnana oriented. All of this has been included in our book of Yoga Mudra. You can definitely go through this book. It would be available for publication in the month of October. So understanding Vedic words. So this is Nirukta analysis in my book which we have published. What is Tattva Ved? What is Shabda Ved? What is Agni Ved? What is Rugved? Rugved is Mohokta. What is Samved? It is Mahavrata. What is Yajurved? It is Yajus. What are the Aptyas? Who are the Hotra? I have just told you. Who is Ardhayu? Who is Brahma? Then Om. Why we say Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti? Why only 3 times? Why don't 4 times? See, I am a very much, I am a doctor. I am a person who will cry if I don't get my answer. Why Shanti 3 times? Why I am on 4 times? I should know. I would do that. So I got my answer. Bhu Bhuva Suvaha. At my lowermost planes, at my intermediate planes, at my higher planes, let will be calmness prevail. So this, that Om. So Om has been demystified as U and Ma. What does means? What does U means? What does Ma means? In different parts. In Upanishada, there is a slight difference. In Samhita, there is slight difference. But it is there more or less the same. What does Om means? Jagruta, Swapna, Shushupti, and between 2 Oms you don't speak something. So the Om is never expressed as single. It is always 2. Because between the 2 Oms there is Turiya. So when we say Ganpati and Tatravishya, Avastatrayatitaha, Turyatrayatitaha, Aham Turyatmak. But Ganpati is what? It is the expression of that Turiya in your lowest Mooladhara Chakra. That is Ganpati. No, how beautiful our rishis have worked on themselves. So can we correlate in outside? I have just told, yes, we can correlate. Yajna is not some outward ritual. You are putting Samhita and all. This is outward expression. The inward thing is happening within ourselves. The products of one plane can be reactants of the other. This is chemistry. You are working on your lower plane, there are some products and those products become reactants for your second plane to work on. So all these interplanar yajnas are there. In Aitareya Brahmana, there are all been expressed. So what are the yajnas? I will just give you a slight idea. I want to know myself. What is this? Agnyadhana. Agni's aspirational force activating within yourself is Agnyadhana. Purnahuti, complete surrender to that force. Agnihotra, daily doing ascent as well as descent is Agnihotra. Reinforcing them every 15 days is Darsha Purna Masa Yajna, Amasya and Purnima, reinforcing that self within self. Followed by Agrayana. Agrayana is the first of the fruit which are expressed through that work of Yajna within yourself. That is Agrayana. Every 3 monthly you do it. Chatur Mas. Every 6 monthly you do it. Uttarayan and Dakshinayan. Pashubandha. You go ahead. Rajasuya. At the 22nd plane you do Vajapaya. Then you go Ashwamedha. What is Ashwamedha? It is not something horse Rama has said, okay, yeah, I'm going to run after that horse. Whoever should capture or not, I will kill him. This is the external form. What is Ashwamedha? Ashwa is the divine consciousness within you trying to go ahead towards Turiya. This is Ashwamedha. This is esoteric meaning of Vedic Samhita. Exoteric meaning we all know through Puranas, Itihasas. Unfortunately, what has happened, we have lost touch of these Samhitas. When I asked, I used to cry in my 12th standard, Mother, I am not knowing, please tell me. She used to say, oh, study for 12th standard. I know, I had done my studies. Please tell what is the answer. She says, I don't know. So Samhita was not able to understood, therefore Brahmanas were created. Brahmanas were not understood, therefore Aranyakas were contemplated. Aranyakas are not understood. Upanishad, something you know, ma. Something, Upanishad, gist you know. Upanishads are also nowadays neglected. So Shatapatha Brahmana is a beautiful treatise. It is a worksheet written by two important rishis, Yajnavalkya and Shandilya. These are the revelatory worksheets. Here you know the forces which are happening within yourself. But how you are going to call Varuna here and from here Agni, and then you are going to combine in one particular Ajna. And this is not Yajna outside, this is Yajna within yourself. How we are going to do that? So that has been explained in our book. Complete 3 volumes or 2 volumes would be coming. And Shatapatha Brahmana has been explained from A to Z. What is Ashwamedha Yajna? What is Agnihotra? What is Darshapurna Mas Yajna? Within yourself, not something ritually done outside. So I just expressed all of this. These are the snapshot from the book. Every Brahmana we have taken and understand. How can we understand these forces? See, unfortunately what has happened, too much of predominance has been given to Jnana Marga. Because rightly so Shankaracharya, without him we would have not existed up till now. But Jnana Marga is important. Before that, too much of importance was given to Karma Marga. Do this ritual, otherwise there will be terrible problems in your life. It is nothing like that. So, analysis of the Jnana Marga, if you want to understand, there is a Mimamsa. Mimamsa is what? To understand, to analyze. This is Uttar Mimamsa. So, Uttar Mimamsa is also called as Brahma Sutra. I have included all the sutras of Brahma and how are they applicable within yourself. Analysis to the karma part, ritualistic part is there in Purva Mimamsa. Who are they? Who has written Purva Mimamsa? Jaimini. Who has written Uttar Mimamsa? Badarayana, Vyasa. So both are teacher and disciple. You can't segregate Jnana Marga and Karma Marga. They are intertwined within yourself. So how can we apply these forces? This is there in Purva Mimamsa, very beautifully explained. What are Ved? What is mantra? What is vidhi? What is arthavat? How they eugelistic to praise? How they negate? All this has been revealed in that book of Yoga Mudra. Jaimini Aranyaka is excellent. Unfortunately, I would say some of these Aranyaka I was not getting. So I used to go to some Canada library online. They used to download. So we are thankful to Darashikoh, Aurangzeb's son, who has translated those all works in Arabic, and from Arabic they go to English and see the controversy. A person from India has to download a book from Canada because it is not available. Many of our literature is not available. People are working on it. So how that supragnostic tea is expressed is there in Jaimini Brahmana. That also I have included in this book. The most difficult part to know oneself, according to me, is the inference. Upanishads, 10 principal Upanishads. I have tried whatever I got revealed while working on those Upanishads in this book. The best revelations in Samhita are mixed with the lower planar revelations in the Brahmana. Therefore, Samhita are considered more authoritative than Brahmanas. Hence, the authority of the Samhita is more than the authority of Brahmana. Revelations in Brahmanas further mix with the mental contemplations in Aranyaka. Hence, the divergence in analysis of Aranyaka more commonly noted by all of us. Central gist is considered in Upanishads. Upanishadic revelations are subject to misinterpretations by mental plane being concentrated. Hence, approaching self from the Upanishad is sometimes very difficult unless and until you are the blessed soul. When approaching self from the Samhita. This is the last slide which I have included in notes to reader in my book. One is in great danger and is at the mercy of confabulated, unprepared afferent. Afferent means what is coming to you. And the lower planar central processing unit within self. If your Buha plane is developed, you have been revealed some thoughts. You are in a great danger to misinterpret it. You need guru. You need books to understand and apply. The self-exploration depends on the level of consciousness matured or evolved to handle the scripture under consideration. See, if you decide to you go decide one fine morning, okay, this Sunday I am going to Sakshi, I am going to pick up the book of Rigveda. Oh, what's this? I am not able to judge. Because your lower planes are not properly developed. So Yoga Mudra is a book which will tell you how you can work on yourself. Another aspect of rote memory scripture. Yesterday I met Suresh Ji. He is there in Bangalore. Excellent Ghanapati of Veda. But more towards exoteric meaning. Very good work. But esoteric meaning of Kapali Shastri and all are there to help us. Serve the purpose of preservation. It helps in preserving Vedas. But not self-exploration and evolution. They just how to pronounce the mantra you will know. Various shiksha, various phonetics, various pratishakyam you will know, but you will not understand the meaning. The work done by Kapali Shastri, Sri Aurobindo, Yoga Mudra is nothing but understanding the self-exploration and the self-evolution. The need of work on evolution in the scripture is thus an important for one's evolution, and the Yoga Mudra does the same work here. So I am extremely thankful to all of you. I don't know how much I could communicate it. I tried to interact with all of your planes at the collective level. Ashtasiddhis are with me, but I didn't want myself to attach consciously. I did that purposefully. Whatever the level of development of consciousness within you, somewhere down the line you may have at least, kind of appreciated, because a person once go up to a level, the revelations are same to you, same to her, same to him, same to him. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Idam namama. This is not me.
Thank you, Dr. Yogeshji. As he said, his book Yoga Mudra is being published from Sakshi in the month of September. Before the end of September, we are publishing it in 2 volumes. Maybe about 4 or 5 months back, Dr. Yogeshji contacted me. In fact, we are in touch with him since 2 years. He contacted me and he informed me that I have done a book. Whether are you interested to publish it? I simply requested him, as the system goes, please send your book. We have the editorial committee and we will go through that and we will assess and inform you. So he promptly sent the book, and for about 15 days or 3 weeks time I was not in a position to take it up, and then informed him that in another 1 month I will let you know. So I read the book. I am very happy to share with you that I am really thrilled to read that book. Ultimately, Vedas or the Upanishads, or for that matter all the books connected with the Vedas, are meant for experiencing. So simple gathering information that Rigveda has 10 mandalas, it has about 1025 suktas, and each sukta has 10 mantras, and this mantra talks about that, that mantra talks about that. This is not the expectations of the rishis who gave us the Vedas. Basically, it is meant for experiencing, and Sri Aurobindo, Kapali Shastri, M.P. Pandit, Dr. Kashyap, and all those who have dealt with Vedas, they have given their Veda knowledge to all of us through their experiences. And I found in the book that amongst us, there is a person who is experiencing the Vedas thoroughly and trying to understand it, realizing in his own way, and capable of sharing it with all those interested people. So these are 2 major things. One, experiencing, and sharing our experiences thoroughly. that as Dr. Yogesh explained during his lecture, that we need some terminology, we need some reference point. Otherwise, whatever you write or talk about Veda becomes nonsense. So it has to be sensible. We should derive the terminology and the way of expressing through the Vedic literature, and we should share it. And that work is being done with utmost care in the Yoga Mudra book, which we are going to publish shortly. And today, definitely, Dr. Alal Kashyap and Kapali Shastriyar will be happy wherever they are, because in the premises of Sakshi, we have a person to whom the Vedas, Upanishads have revealed their secret, and he is sharing with the persons who are associated with Dr. Kashyap. Once again, thank you, Dr. Yogesh Vaikari.
Thank you. I request Shri Vishnu Prasad Jahagirdar, a Sakshi Vedavriti, to introduce in brief about the book Vedas for Success.
Namaste. The Veda is the beginning of our spiritual knowledge. The Veda will remain its end. I believe the future of India and the world to depend on its discovery and on its application, not to the renunciation of life, but to life in the world and among men. Sri Aurobindo. Dr. Narayana Swami is a staunch believer and ardent follower of this vision of Sri Aurobindo. He is working in the field of Vedas with missionary zeal. His deep study and realization culminated in this book. In fact, this book is a crown in the Vedic literature, especially the application of Veda knowledge. He is at once a scholar and practitioner. His service to the Vedas deserve applause. A person who has digested the core of Veda only can write such a book. No doubt, Dr. Kashyap made the study of Veda easier for the moderns, but Dr. Narayana Swami has made it much simpler to the youngsters who are now about 5,000 years away from Vedic era. This book not only feeds the teachings of Veda, but also inspires to take up further study and intense practice of the Vedas. This book is a key to his maiden book, Understanding the Vedas. Through this book, Dr. Narayana Swami has proved that he is a leader in the field of Vedas. He helps readers to raise step by step. The style of his writing is like Apta Samhita, conversation between two intimate persons. Understanding the concept like Tad Ekam or Brahmana and Shraddha and experiencing the bliss of collaboration with the cosmic powers will require several lives for most individuals. But not for Dr. Narayana Swami. He deals with such topics with so much ease that the readers gain confidence and understand that Vedas are not only beyond their reach. After reading this book, one can confidently declare that he knows the path of Veda and the process of divinization which helps to achieve all-round perfection. Life is a celebration, and Vedas help us to celebrate it in a grand way. Dr. Narayana Swami is celebrating the life and carrying forward the Veda lovers alongside. Each chapter here is an outcome of an intensive study requiring great attention from the readers to understand the full importance of the meaning conveyed by the author. Vedas are the operating manuals for people to lead successful life. Dr. R.V. Jahagirdar. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Prakash Kulkarni has written a book and will be released shortly. I request them to give a short note on their book.
Well, friends, I am basically interested most part what Jagannath sir is doing and what RV is doing, because they are doing the practical applications of the esoteric knowledge. From centuries together, there are the hair-splitting arguments between Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya and Madhvacharya. At the end of a day, friends, can we not ask a question to ourselves? All the metaphors, all quotable quotes, Do they deliver to us? Are we not reporting? Are we not repeating every day without knowing what it is there? In this context, I should appreciate Dr. R.V. and Sakshi bringing ground what they mean through Aurobindo. I am Dr. Prakash. I did my PhD after my retirement. Now I am busy in PDF. Also happy to remember my parents because they have given 4 PhDs in our family. All 4 brothers are PhDs. I am connected to RV. He is a maternal cousin. Sorry to say, on the camera I want to say, I repeat, on the camera I want to say, Dr. Vishnupant Jagedar is 10% better than the person who is garneted. Only his vocabulary is there, his dictionary is there, his metaphors are there, his grammar is there. But sir, what is the essence at the end of a day? Don't we deserve it? Or were you only spending the words and grammars and all these things? Panijis, sir, I am not belonging to that great culture of the great people. I want to be happy in the day at the end of the evening and spend and share the happiness with my family. And if I fail, I will be a part of a word in the dictionary. Go, good, better and best. I don't want to do. I don't want to do, honestly. And RV has supported me for writing this book, Essence of the Essence. This is most important. Friends, today all the amenities are there. I will take 1 minute to tell. When I was going to high school, I asked my father to buy a bicycle for me. He said, no, Sada sabse jyada hai. You go, as it is. For that reason, I had written a letter to the Indira Gandhi, then the Prime Minister. Immediately after all the dignitaries, it has come to me. My father came in, he paid me. He said, what was the point of telling to Indira Gandhi to give a bicycle? Is he sitting there, Prime Minister, to provide all the bicycles? No. But friends, I want to tell, at the end of a day, you need a courage. You need a wisdom. Sorry, with the reference to the Dr. Saab, do we need a gynecologist to tell what we are at the end of a day? Can't we know from our experiences? Can't we delay on the documents? Can't we delay on the scriptures? No. So that's why Sant Kabir Das has told one beautiful thing. Tu kahe kagaj mein likhe, tu kahe kagaj mein likhe, main kahe aakhan ke dekhe. I am telling out of my experiences and you are telling out of the study of the scriptures. And the problem is that you see, when you tell the scriptures, you see, it is totally subjective. Everybody will try to interpret as per his experiences. He is not reaching the core. He is only busy in interpreting and creating a drama and playing the word to word meaning. Sir, it will not work out. I am telling out of my 70 years experience, believe me, it will not definitely work out. Today, when I want to talk to Pachu or I want to talk to Mansa, you see, I should have a base. They don't worry about what somebody has told. Sir, today what you want to tell, you tell me. You forget all the people. Are you happy? Are you able to share this experience with others? Share at least experiences with your family. Make them more happy. That is the end of all the religions. That is the end of all the scriptures. That is the end of all the Vedas. So in that context, I have written a book, Essence of Essence. This is my experiences of 15 days I spent in Himalayas and met the great sage and the great saints. Sir, I cannot explain being in front of them. They never speak, but they understand what you want to speak. Very difficult, sir. It is very difficult. We use a lot of biography or the introduction of a person. They said no, it's not required. The moment I went there, you see, सुनो प्रकाश को गर्म पानी का प्रबंध करो, वो ठंडा पानी में काम नहीं करेगा. I'm just sitting in front of him. So these are the great people. I'm sorry to tell, I don't mean anything. Instead of wasting more and more time in the words, in the play of the words, I feel essence of essence is required. Connect to yourself, connect to your experience, connect to Dr. Jagannath, and he will be, Dr. Jagannath, and he will be alive to the family, alive to yourself, alive to Dr. R.V., alive to this great gentleman, and alive to ourselves, to the core. These books Last time I think I told you, I met Raghavendra Swami. It was a 3.5 minutes visit early in the morning in Ballari. So do I need any books to authenticate to see that he is a great? I met him. His beautiful smile, his aura. When I'm traveling, when I'm conducting workshops and all these things, it is always there between 4 to 5. So at the end of my talk, what I want to talk to you, you gain experience. It may be minus 0.1, but it is authentic. It is what you are there. It is what Mr. Jagannath is there. It is what Mr. RV is there. It is what Mr. X, Y, Z. When I die, when I go from this world, I should go, that I should carry some of my own experiences and explore to the new generations and to higher realms. This book tells what are my experiences in Himalayas, what are my experiences with the Raghavendra Swami, what are my experiences with Ramana Maharshi. Myself and RV, we went to some unexpectedly, we started traveling, and how we are able to dwell. Sir and friends, my mothers, we hear lot of words, beautiful words, meaningful words, but why it cannot make any difference at the end of a day? I'm the same impulsive person. I'm the same angry persons. So this should not happen in the further generation. When Pachu is sitting and Mansa is sitting, I think my knowledge, our knowledge of our scriptures, knowledge of our ancestors should reach them. We should stop preaching, we should reach them. This is my humble instinct expression. And this book is on the way for printing. And I'm very much thankful for Dr. RV that from the concept level, he started monitoring the book. So it must be mostly next week, I think it will be out of the printing. And I will mark a copy to you. And I will be sharing my address to him. And in return, we will be spreading that knowledge. I may repeat, I'm very happy to repeat, an experience of 0.1 is much more better reading the volumes of the scriptures. So, Dr. Sir, with your kind permission, I want to tell, do we need a gynecologist to tell what I am? I'm sorry, you are a very erudite person. I respect your knowledge, but sir and ma'am, at the end of the day, it counts me what I am in my pants. Thank you. I wish you all the best. Thank you so much. So kind of you.
Thank you. Now I request Advocate Chandrasekhar to make announcements. He is a practicing advocate in Bengaluru.
Thank you. Namaste. I have to make 3 announcements. First announcement is this. Sakshi has planned to construct a research center in the name of Professor R.L. Kashyap Memorial Veda Research Center in Ayurveda. The estimated cost of this project is 10 crores. So we seek your cooperations to materialize this endeavor. And the second announcement is this. To commemorate Sri T.V. Kapali Shastri birthday celebration, we have announcing a 20% discount on all our publications. Readers are requested to make use of this facility. Finally, this third announcement is, in the month of December, that is on 15th, 16th and 17th December, a world conference on living Veda is planned. So, all are you invited for this. Thank you. Namaste, sir.
Thank you. I request Shri Srinivas Kulkarni, the supervisor of Ayurveda, to extend vote of thanks.
ಸಾಕ್ಷಿ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ವತಿಯಿಂದ ಟಿ.ವಿ. ಕಪಾಲಿ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಿಯವರ 137ನೇ ಜನ್ಮದಿನಾಚರಣೆಯ ಅಂಗವಾಗಿ ಇಂದಿನ ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಉಪಸ್ಥಿತರಿರುವಂತಹ ಮುಖ್ಯ ವಕ್ತಾರರಾಗಿ ಮತ್ತು ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅತಿಥಿಗಳಾಗಿ ಆಗಮಿಸಿರುವಂತಹ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಯೋಗೇಶ್ ವಾಯ್ಕರ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಪರವಾಗಿ ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ಸಲ್ಲಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಾಕ್ಷಿ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜಿಂಗ್ ಟ್ರಸ್ಟಿಗಳಾದ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ RV ಜಹಗೀರ್ದಾರ್ ಇವರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಸಹಿತ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯಿಂದ ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ಸಮರ್ಪಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಇಂದಿನ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಟ್ರಸ್ಟಿಗಳಾದ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀಕಾಂತ್ ಹೆಗಡೆ ಮತ್ತು ಅಂಬುಜಾ ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸನ್ ಸಹಿತ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರಿಗೂ ಸಹಿತ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ಸಮರ್ಪಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅತಿಥಿಗಳ ಪರಿಚಯವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟಂತಹ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಸ್ವಾತಿ ಅವರಿಗೂ ಸಹಿತ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ಸಮರ್ಪಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಇಂದಿನ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಛಾಯಾಚಿತ್ರಣವನ್ನು ನಿರ್ವಹಿಸಿರುವಂತಹ ಶ್ರೀ ವಿಷ್ಣುಪ್ರಸಾದ್ ಜಹಗೀರ್ದಾರ್ ಇವರಿಗೂ ಸಹಿತ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಪರವಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಪರ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ಸಮರ್ಪಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಇಂದಿನ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ನಿರೂಪಣೆಯನ್ನು ಶ್ರೀಮತಿ ಮಾನಸ ವಿಷ್ಣುಪ್ರಸಾದ್ ಜಹಗೀರ್ದಾರ್ ನಿರ್ವಹಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಚ್ಚುಕಟ್ಟಾಗಿ. ಅವರಿಗೂ ಸಹಿತ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ಸಮರ್ಪಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಯೋಜನೆಗಳನ್ನು ತಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದೆ ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತಪಡಿಸಿರುವಂತಹ ಶ್ರೀ ಚಂದ್ರಶೇಖರ್ ವಕೀಲರು ಇವರಿಗೂ ಸಹಿತ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ಸಮರ್ಪಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಒಟ್ಟಾರೆ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಸಂಯೋಜಿಸಿ ಯಶಸ್ವಿಯಾಗಲು ಕಾರಣರಾಗಿರುವಂತಹ ನಮ್ಮ ಆಡಳಿತದ ಬಿಂದು ಮಾಧವ್ ಜಹಗೀರ್ದಾರ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಸಹಿತ ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಸಮರ್ಪಿಸಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಸಿಬ್ಬಂದಿಗಳು ಹಾಗೂ ಪರೋಕ್ಷವಾಗಿ ಪ್ರತ್ಯಕ್ಷವಾಗಿ ಸಹಕರಿಸಿದ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಈ ಒಂದು ಸಾಕ್ಷಿ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಪುಸ್ತಕಗಳನ್ನು ಹಲವಾರು ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಅಚ್ಚುಕಟ್ಟಾಗಿ ಮುದ್ರಿಸಿ ನಮಗೆ ತಲುಪಿಸುತ್ತಿರುವಂತಹ ಶ್ರೀ ಶ್ರೀರಂಗ ಬಾಲಕೃಷ್ಣರವರಿಗೆ ಸಹಿತ ಶ್ರೀರಂಗ ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಇವರಿಗೂ ಸಹಿತ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ಸಮರ್ಪಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೆರೆದಿರುವಂತಹ ಈಗ ಮಾತಾಡಿರುವಂತಹ ನಮ್ಮ ಹಿರಿಯರಾದ ಶ್ರೀ ಪ್ರಕಾಶ್ ಕುಲಕರ್ಣಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಸಹಿತ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ಸಮರ್ಪಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಆಹ್ವಾನಿಗೆ ಹೋಗೊಟ್ಟು ತಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಇದೇ ರೀತಿ ನಿರಂತರವಾದ ಸಾಕ್ಷಿ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಬೆಂಬಲಿಗರಾಗಿ ಹಾಗೂ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಏಳಿಗೆಗಾಗಿ ತಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಸಹಿತ ಸಹಕರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ. ತಮಗೆ ಮೊದಲೊಮ್ಮೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಪರವಾಗಿ ತಮಗೆ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ಸಮರ್ಪಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಈ ಸಾಕ್ಷಿ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಸಿಬ್ಬಂದಿಯವರಿಗೂ ಹಾಗೂ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಎಲ್ಲ ತಯಾರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸಿರುವಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಸಹಿತ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ಸಮರ್ಪಿಸಿ ನನ್ನ ಈ ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಸಮರ್ಪಣಾ ಭಾಷಣವನ್ನು ಮುಗಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ.
Thank you. I thank all of you for joining us today for the celebration of 137th birthday of Shri T.V. Kapali Shastri Ji. Let us conclude this formal occasion with Shanti Mantra. I request Bindu Madhav V. Jahagirdaar, the Administrative Officer of Sakshi, and Shri Vishnu Prasad Jahagirdaar to chant Shanti Mantra.
सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
हरि ओम.
ಈಗ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಹೀಗೆ ಬರೋಣ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪುಷ್ಪಗಳಿದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಪಾಲಿ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಿಯವರಿಗೆ ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಅರ್ಪಿಸಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಸಾದ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಇದೆ. ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಹೋಗಿ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಸೇರೋಣ.